You get it figured out? All right. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I am coming live to you from the 70s. I want to welcome you all for this 192nd episode. Earlier in the day, when I was considering what I was going to title the episode for tonight, I considered a couple different titles. And every time I typed something in, I didn't like that title. I was upset with the title. I thought, this is not what I want. This is cliche. And I would always back it all out. And after doing that for probably the third or fourth time, I then said, okay, here's what I'm doing. I'm going to name this title of this episode Cliche. And guess what? It fits. So that's what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is what the deal is. I am not in the studio at the time being, but we are going to try to work through this evening. It really works well because tonight, basically, I'm going to talk, and we have just a couple of brief pictures I'm going to show you at one point with the help of producer Kate, who is down in the duck. But beyond that, I'm going to weave for you all a tale, and I'm going to explain it all, and I hope that we're going to be able to have everything set forth so folks will understand, and then we can have a baseline level of where everything has been and start from there going forward. All right. That is what we're going to be focusing on. Kind of the story of what has happened with the city of Muncie. Right now, while there might not be much known about this, I'm going to let you know. Currently, as we're sitting here, as I'm sitting here talking about this, and you're all sitting here watching this, there is quite a bit of financial chaos going on within City of Muncie government, the Muncie Visitors Bureau, and other little offshoots like AMA and the Delaware County Fair Board and Downtown Development, because of the information that has leaked out slowly to everyone over the course of the last couple of days and weeks. This is something that I've been hearing about since right before or right after the eclipse. Now, obviously, the reason that we're dealing with this is because America, mostly the Midwestern states, dealt with a once in a lifetime situation back on April 8th. And we were all told, oh, this is going to be the biggest thing. It's going to be like the Super Bowl for every city and town and small little ink spot on the map from Mexico to Canada. And essentially what happened is none of that happened. Okay? None of that happened. And so basically, we then saw a lot of fallout where there were a lot of mom and pop shops and a lot of governments and a lot of other entities and organizations that had really leaned all in on this solar deal. And because of that, they're now winding up short. And here's the problem. While that causes issues for mom and pop shops and some governments just on the loss because we didn't get the traffic that was expected. It's even worse when you bring people into the mix that are greedy, that are willing to do things outside of the lines to make a quick buck, to enhance themselves rather than the communities that they work for or the jobs that they have or the people that they serve. And so that's where we currently are. So we're going to be talking about that tonight, and that's going to be the main point of what we're talking about. Okay. I do just... Oh no, that's not true. This part needs to be faded a little bit more. This needs to be faded just a bit more. And this needs to be a little bit. We're getting there. Another 4 days and it'll be perfect. Well, this will still be a little too long, but I appreciate the compliment there. Okay. Before we get there, I do need to talk to you just briefly about the situation with the sign. Last night we talked about the sign that the committee to elect James King had put up, and they put it up in a yard belonging to the quote-unquote UAW in Muncie, Delaware County. And when I passed this on Saturday or Sunday, I thought, how is this there? How is this sign in the property of the UAW? Because it's a sign supporting James King. James King, along with Shannon Henry and Sherry Riggin, busted the union for the Delaware County Sheriff's Department, for the dispatchers, for the police, and for the corrections officers. That was James King. So how can the union support James King? Right there's the sign. Well, that was like on Saturday or Sunday, I thought this. What in the world? So then the sheriff of Delaware County made this post that Kate, I think, is going to try to put up here. And he made this post. Okay, no, that post. Okay. So he made this post. And we went over this last night. And basically, it's Sheriff Skinner calling out the union for, how are you guys putting this up and supporting James King in his bid for re-election? Well, then that's when a new player got added to the game, and we got the I guess the union boss, the president of the union now, Larry Fisher, I believe, who then sent, if you can show the post that has the red on the sides, if you can show that. Okay, you guys can't see this, but this is very important, okay? This is, we talked about this last night. Essentially, what we've got here is the union president says, go back and watch last night's show if you want more topic on this, more conversation about this. But he says, hey, this sign was put up. It was not our intention to put this up. We're not okay with this. We did not give permission to do this, and we do not support this candidate. So then I post in there and I say, okay, so is this sign coming down? And the gentleman then gets on and says, the sign is already down and problem is solved. We've already contacted them and it is down. Okay, no harm, no foul. I said, thank you. No issue, no problem. Then this morning, people start sending me pictures, and I actually drove by and I witnessed that they had the sign down in the yard, but there was a James King sign up in the window of the UAW. Kate, can you put that picture up? Okay, so here's the, no, not this one. Can you put up the one, just the picture of the building? Yeah, here, okay, this one. So here's the picture, and this is the post I said. Larry Foster. So the sign was pulled down from the yard and placed in the window. This doesn't seem to jive with your statement. The UAW as an organization has not endorsed or support anyone in this political race. So are you guys supporting or endorsing King? Can you advise where this stands with your original statement? Is that sign going to stay in the window or is it going to come down? Let us know your thoughts. No, they're not liars. Because after I posted that, just a short time later, Larry then sent me this response back, and it was the first picture you put up there, Kate. Larry sent this back. Christopher, again, I appreciate the heads up. This sign has been taken down and measures put in place to find out who's responsible. As I previously stated, we have not and will not endorse James King. We have not endorsed either candidate in this race. So, very, very thankfully, I have to say, this is how I like things to happen. He put a statement out. I saw something that looked different from what his statement said. I sent him the message, hey, there's a problem here. And he took actions to correct it. So just really quickly, before we move on to the main topic, James King or his campaign, and I believe, I don't know this to be a fact, but I believe that Mike Jones was connected to this. Mike Jones, for the campaign to reelect James King, had that sign originally put up in the yard there at the UAW property. They did not get permission. They did not have permission to do so, and the UAW did not want that sign there. They were made aware. They took the sign down. When that sign came down, somebody must not have liked that, and somebody then put up a sign inside. When that was brought to the attention of the UAW, they said, that's not going to work either. They took that sign down, and they are now working to find out who did that, and I'm sure they will handle that. The main thing here is, ladies and gentlemen, we've now had the UAW say on more than one occasion, we are not endorsing or supporting James King. But King and his cohorts continuously jam that down their throats. Do you want the commissioner like that? Do you want a commissioner who says, it doesn't matter if you support me or not? I'm going to jam this down your throat. You get me either way. No, 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 no. So I'm glad and happy to say that we will be saying goodbye to Mr. King come May 7th. I'm so happy to know that, and I cannot wait to move forward with that. So I will keep you posted if anything else happens. You know, I don't know if they're going to spray paint the building, you know, re-elect James King, and then they're going to have, I'll let you know if any more comes from this 2024 Delaware County sign gate. I'll keep you posted. Okay, now on to the main topic. And I am so sorry. I know that there's been people asking me about some questions about Sproles and Henry County. I will get that to you. Because he's not running for re-election, we'll probably have to wait until after all of the election and everything to get through all of that. We've got some breaking news and stuff currently going on in the mix in Delaware County and in Muncie and election stuff. Once we get through that, I promise I'll be hitting Sproles hard and coming out with all the information. There is some stuff going on there, but I'm digging stuff out and I need to get to the bottom of all of that. And for all of you that have been here the last couple of nights and you guys get this, I am sorry that we are going to be going through this again. But I want to let you know I have been inundated by people asking me for a better understanding of what's happening and to just kind of recap everything, because we've talked about this for the last couple of nights, but we've talked about it in two places. So basically what we're going to do here at just about 17 minutes into the show, I'm going to talk about what's going on with the City of Muncie finances surrounding the eclipse and Greenlight Resources and the Visitors Bureau and Kevin Kirby and Dustin Clark and Michelle Owen and Dulaney Fritch and Morgan Warden and all of the names that you've heard and everything going on there. It is very, very important with what's happening, okay? And with the with law enforcement agencies looking into this, I'm now being told that the state police is looking into this. You know, this is Muncie and Delaware County. You never know if the feds are looking into this. With everything that's currently going on, it's important that we have an understanding. And keep in mind, we have a local government who ran on improving transparency, improving accountability, improving communication, and they've not only not done any of that, but then they didn't do any of the other of his promises. They did not slow government down. They've actually sped it up. They did not improve relationships between the city, the county, or any other entity. Matter of fact, they've made it worse. And they've certainly not put the best people in place in almost any of the positions. So this is a serious issue here, okay? So for those of you that have gotten this and you're like well aware, I apologize. It's pretty big. Let me get through this and we will get back to regular programming soon. This is really kind of a big story, and I have kind of come into the story right at the front, so we're kind of leading the pack on this. So obviously, we've been aware of the solar eclipse for a very long time. We knew when it was going to happen. They started planning this thing way back in April or before of last year. And so basically, what has happened is the people that have been involved with this, they have been dealing with this and looking into this and doing things in preparation for at least a year, if not longer. And you've had multiple entities involved. You've got the City of Muncie, you've got Delaware County, which obviously do not get along, do not talk, do not share information, and they do not work well with one another. You've got downtown development. You've got the Muncie Visitors Bureau, which is now also called Destination Muncie. It's also called Visit Muncie, or Visit Muncie, Destination Muncie, Muncie Visitors Bureau. It's all the same thing. You've got the Minnetrista Cultural Center. You've got the Parks Department of the City of Muncie. You've got Prairie Creek. You've got the Delaware County Fair Board. You've got AMA. And so you've got a lot of different entities who all have their own boards and their own chains of command, and they don't necessarily answer to any of the other entities. All right. So essentially what you need to do in a scenario like that is you need to create a committee. And they did. And everybody thought that it was moving along swimmingly. We're going to create this solar committee and everything's going to be fantastic. Now, here's what's going on. No matter who was on the solar committee, and I'll be honest, I don't know who all was on the board. I don't know what all entities were on the board. No, the AMA is the American Model Aeronautics Association, and it's based out of here in Muncie, Delaware County. And so that's what it is. Webb, they sure didn't have to answer to the county council when I called out the director of the Visitors Bureau. Well, we need to talk about the director of the Visitors Bureau, and we're going to talk about him in just a moment. But keep that. It's actually the former director now, Kevin Kirby. Keep that name in your mind. So we get a situation where all of these different entities are coming together, and they've got a solar committee now, and they're like, okay, who's on the board? Who's in charge? What's going to happen? Well, basically the committee just kind of fizzled out and nothing really came of it. What did come of that committee were two people. All right, there were two people that if you ask anybody in the city of Muncie or Delaware County over the last year, who was involved with this? Who was the face of this solar project? This solar eclipse situation, the big solar eclipse party. You would be told, if they're following along and paying attention, Michelle Owen as one. And then for those that know the inside baseball, more than likely they would tell you Trenton Bush. Two people, Michelle Owen from the city of Muncie, the comms director, and Trenton Bush, the marketing director of the Visitors Bureau. Those two people were the face of this committee. Now, as I pointed out on Sunday evening, Michelle Owen is either in a business relationship of some sort or a romantic relationship of some sort or a business and romantic relationship of some sort, or they were. Okay, that's important to understand that they either are or they were, and it was either business, romantic, or both. They have homes together. We went on the Delaware County Beacon website the other night. I pulled it up and I showed you a home that they had bought together here in Delaware County. I'm hearing from sources that they just recently, within the last little bit, bought a home together in Portland, or in the Portland area. So, you know, they're at least somehow connected other than just working for the same governmental entity together. And, you know, look, what people do outside of work, I don't care. I don't care if they're dating, if they're not dating. I don't care what their arrangement is. It's just important to know, if there are conflicts of interest or things going on. Because keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, to remove ourselves from this solar eclipse debacle, the name Dustin Clark, well, we've talked about him before. Why have we talked about him before? Because Dustin Clark, back a couple years ago, went into a business relationship with the city clerk of Muncie, Belinda Munson, and they, as a company called American Bar Company, they bought a building, all right, that was in downtown Muncie. The building was called the Workman's Bar, and they bought that bar for a very insignificant amount of money. They went in, they realized the bar was trashed. They kept the liquor license, and they ended up selling the bar to another entity, who then, in just a short period of time, turned around and sold it to the city of Muncie for an astronomical amount of money. All right. And we've talked about how that is very questionable. All right. That's question number one about Dustin Clark. As Annie is saying here, there's another questionable aspect of Dustin Clark. For those of you that don't know, Dustin Clark is a mayoral appointed department head. He is a salary position. He gets benefits, and he works a job that he gets paid for working 9 to 5. It doesn't matter if he works over. It doesn't matter if he works under. Some weeks he works less. Some weeks he works more. And that's just the long and the short of it. That's how it shakes out. However, on top of that, Dustin also has some kind of a contract business with the city of Muncie, where he writes the grants for the city. He's also very connected to Ridenour and basically anything and everything Ridenour wants. Like, for example, during the Ironman, I've heard people say that he was essentially on the clock for the city of Muncie during the Ironman, but yet he's running in the race. So he's getting paid for like playing along with the mayor, doing their little thing, being, in the Ironman. Yay. That's questionable. He's getting paid a salary. We don't understand how his time cards work. When is he on the clock as the Prairie Creek director? When is he on the clock as the grant director, grant writing director? What's the deal here? And I believe, as I have heard and I've seen, that the State Board of Accounts in the past, they've taken issue with what Dustin has done. And they've said, this doesn't really look good. This is a no-no. Yeah. Okay. Well, now bring in to all of this the fact that now we are hearing that there is a third contractual job that Dustin does. Now, wait a minute. I am getting clarification here, and I want to clarify. I do believe Annie is right. He was going to be a department head position where he would have been salary. But I do believe she's correct. I do believe they worked him into what's called a working foreman position, to where he can get, that's even stranger, and that will be easier to prove, and it will be easier to line up, because if he's salary, I can't look at the times very much. But if he is actually hourly and he's on the clock, it's going to be very easy to prove, okay, this man is swimming in Prairie Creek during the Ironman and he's on the clock. That's a problem. So I'm glad that Annie put that out there, because she is exactly right. And I do recall them doing that. So that's going to end up getting them in some hot water, I think. And I will be issuing a records request for all of that information. So in July of last year, Dustin allegedly created a company, an LLC called Greenlight Resources. And somehow he got some young kid, Morgan Warden, to put her name on the paperwork for the Indiana Secretary of State Business Division. So when you look up the Greenlight Resources, all you find is Morgan Warden. Now, as we've done on this very program a couple nights ago, I was able to go back and find out that Morgan Warden, looking them up on Facebook, they have two mutual friends, and it was Dustin and Michelle Owen. After I released that information, the next day when we looked it up, Dustin had blocked me from social media. All right, so I want to be very clear. I'm not accusing anybody of fraud or any wrongdoing. I'm not a police officer. I'm not an attorney. I'm just a bloviator here talking. This is definitely soft corruption. Okay, we talk all the time. There are two types of corruption. There's corruption that is legal, and there's corruption that is illegal. All right. I don't know if this is legal or not, but I definitely will say that what's happening here is corrupt. Should not be happening. So I have a records request in to the city of Muncie for the contract, because let's face it, if Greenlight Resources is doing work for the city of Muncie, there should be a contract. If there's not a contract, that's a problem. That's yet again one more problem. Okay? As Annie said, so far with the state and everywhere that I've checked, there is no conflict of interest filed. Now, I specifically remember in the organizational meeting of the January 2024 City Council meeting, I remember Belinda Munson going around and making a big spectacle out of saying, we have the conflict of interest forms here. If you're doing anything that might be a conflict, put it down on paper and let us know. And they did a great big spectacle of it. But it appears, at least right now, that Dustin never did that. All right? If that's the case, that's going to be a problem. So now we have Dustin heading this Greenlight Resources. Morgan Walden is somehow connected. Warden. Morgan, not the country singer. I keep doing that. Morgan Warden. Morgan Warden. That's a horrible name. Are you, Brandon? I love it. The next issue is that they were doing work and giving away, doing work of some kind and turning in invoices to the Visitors Bureau. Now, I've got to be honest, the Visitors Bureau, they have been out front and open and honest about all of this. They're doing everything that they can. They are trying to be transparent about all of this. And while there might be some issues that occurred, they have taken every step they could do to nip it in the bud and to get it under control. That being said, we need to hit the brakes just for a second on Dustin Clark. We now need to look at the former head director of the Visitors Bureau. So the Visitors Bureau is paid by the Delaware County innkeeper tax, yada, yada, yada. For a long time, not a long time, but for like a year, Dale Basham was the interim director. Everybody thought that he would just be named the director. But oh no, they didn't want to do that. No, they didn't want to do that. Delaware County, for whatever reason, wanted to waste a bunch of money to go out and look for a director of the Muncie Visitors Bureau in like Colorado and New Mexico and Virginia. And it's like, what's even the deal with that? What is going on there? So why not get someone from the city of Muncie? That just blows me away. So they spend like in excess of $40,000 on this. The county just throws this money out in waste. It's a waste. They bring in a man called Kevin Kirby. Now, I remember when they brought him in. I remember when Kevin Kirby was given the red carpet treatment. WLBC brought out the trumpets. Kevin Kirby, he's here. Yay, this is a great big happy day. Oh, happy day, oh, happy day. And they were writing out these great big stories, and everything was fantastic, and it was wonderful. Bring out the elephants and the helicopters, and it's oh happy day. My question is, what did the $40-some thousand get the city of Muncie Visitors Bureau and the Delaware County government and those of us in Delaware County? What did that money get? Did it buy a background check? Did it buy a mouse in a laboratory, jumping across keyboards, just typing in various letters to find out if it could type in Kevin Kirby and do a Google search? Could somebody in Delaware County or the city government just do a simple search and type in Kevin Kirby? Because I will tell you, if you guys out there in YouTube land, wherever else you're watching this, if you all pull up another tab and you happen to go to Google and type in Visitors Bureau Kevin Kirby, Kevin Kirby, Kevin Kirby. Specifically, if you type in removed Massachusetts, Virginia, in with the search, you will find where, prior to Kevin Kirby being here, Kevin Kirby worked in another position doing very similar work as he was doing here in the city of Muncie. And you will find where they have stated that after some kind of event between Kevin and a staff member, they didn't announce what that was. I don't know if it was a fight or I don't know, during some kind of event that they didn't talk about in the public, an investigation got kicked off into the financial practices of Mr. Kevin Kirby. And after a brief investigation, they end up firing him for kind of uncouth financial practices. And he has more or less been removed, I think, from a couple different places. Now, listen, it didn't take me and a friend of mine, but just, a handful of minutes this morning to locate this. I mean, honestly, it took just a brief handful of moments. Kate, can you pop up here for 1 second?
Yeah,
if you can stay here for one.
I gotta go. Okay, hon.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Sorry. Caught you in the middle of something.
No, it's okay.
If you can pop up here for 1 second, that can allow me to drop down, and I need to share something with you so you can pop up on the screen if possible.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back.
All
Stay right there.
hurry, because they come to listen to you, not look at me. Hopefully everybody's doing good. You caught me talking to my oldest in Washington. It's just half listening to Christopher, half talking to the kid. It's been entertaining, but wow, what a mess in Muncie and Delaware County. And he's frozen, which is fantastic.
Okay, so what I've done is I've sent you 4 pictures. One of them is an email from the mayor of Muncie to an employee. Don't put that in there, but put the other 3 if you can.
Okay, I can.
All right,
do
thank
that.
you, ma'am.
How do I juggle Christopher and a family with great skill?
What? Okay, so I can't hear. Like, I've got the volume turned down. I don't know what she did. Didn't he also sue the previous entity? Why would the Visitors Bureau hire someone who had sued his previous employer? Yeah, man, I got to be honest. I don't know what they're doing on this. Listen, I don't blame the Visitors Bureau for his hire. I blame the Delaware County commissioners. And that's how this kind of ties into the government. The commissioners were really pulling some crazy things going on here. I know that Victor Whitehead was involved with this. He's the former Republican chairman. I know that James King was involved. So if you're not happy with what's going on here, folks, look to your commissioners, because as far as the Visitors Bureau is concerned, when I say the Visitors Bureau, I mean their attorney and the board. They're doing the best they can. Now, I want to tell you, I was impressed by him at the county meetings, but I didn't do a Google search. Okay, so while we're getting ready here to do this, okay, Kate's put this up here. Listen to what this says. Natchez. What? How would you pronounce this, Kate? Natchez.
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 Mhm.
Natchez ousts tourism director board. Natchez aldermen, which is like city councilors. Natchez aldermen have voted to remove the city tourism director and seek the resignation from each member of the Natchez Convention Promotion Commission. The Natchez Democrat, which is the paper, the Natchez Democrat reports the move comes less than 2 months after the I don't know what. Alva, if you're calling me, I'm currently on my phone, so I can't answer. I don't know if you're calling me, Alva. If you're watching this, I'm obviously live. If you're not watching this, you're not hearing me. The Natchez Democrat reports the move comes less than 2 months after a February 12th incident between director Kevin Kirby and one of the employees. The newspaper reports that that dispute ultimately kicked off an investigation into the convention and visitors bureau finances, Kirby's job performance, and at times a power struggle between the convention promotion commission and the mayor and board of aldermen. Okay. Kirby's employment occurred after an hour. I can't tell what that thing is there because of the live symbol.
The vote to end Kirby's employment occurred after an hour-long closed
door session Monday. Mayor Butch Brown said that he would choose an interim director soon, and a new hiring committee would be formed to choose another permanent director. Kirby was hired in the fall of 2014. Questions about the finances began to surface publicly earlier this year as the commission members began to publicly question spending practices and ultimately rescinded Kirby's financial authority in late February. Okay, you can take that down. Now, what I want to say about this is I have not put up the total records that I have received from the Visitors Bureau yet because I'm waiting on some more. But we went through this a little bit last night. And one of the things that I have received from the Visitors Bureau are minutes from the Visitors Bureau meetings. And one thing that is clear, matter of fact, Kate and I were talked about it last night, is one of the things that really kind of caught our attention is the fact that there was this constant struggle between the Delaware County Muncie Visitors Bureau board members and Mr. Kirby. It seemed to be very similar to what that newspaper article is stating there. So it's just interesting that this man is fired from a job very similar to where he's just been fired from, and this is going on. Now, do I believe that that's connected to Dustin Clark? No, I'll be honest. I think it's just total chaos in everywhere. It's very similar to the FBI investigation in Muncie. Back when that was going on and we had police brutality and we had everything going on. It's not like all of that was connected. It wasn't. It was like because of the culture of corruption that was allowed to fester from different angles and different sides, it's just kind of like that's what happens. Because the longer you do this, politics and talk about all of this stuff, and the longer you look into these things, a couple things will happen. Number one, you will not believe in coincidences. I just don't believe in coincidences. I never have. Number two, you will find that bad guys and bad actors and or good guys that sometimes just see a crime of opportunity and act, they tend to find each other. And they tend to be able to sniff each other out almost better than like good guys can, or almost better than good guys looking for bad guys, or vice versa. You know, if you're all involved in kind of corruption, it's pretty easy to be like, I'm looking the other way because I'm doing my thing. And if I'm looking the other way, I'm not looking at what they're doing. And so maybe I'm doing something crazy and they're doing something crazy, but those two things don't relate. So the fact that Dustin was running around doing what he was doing, I don't think that that necessarily has anything to do with Kevin Kirby. Now, it might come back and it might totally all be related. I don't know. Or it might come back that Kirby was doing his little weirdness and Dustin was doing his weirdness. You know, we don't know. I will tell you, this is a true fact. I have now heard from multiple sources that are involved in city and county government as well as law enforcement in and around Muncie, Delaware County, and East Central Indiana, as well as the state and federal level, that at least the state police are in town and looking into this, and quite possibly the FBI is like, hey, wait a minute, we thought we got rid of all of this. You guys are seriously doing the same thing that the last guy did? Like, can't you at least get your own grift going? Like, haven't we watched this play out? You know, guy turns in invoices for work that he's not done. Haven't we seen this movie once before? And I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow everybody's minds, and I mean this wholeheartedly. You can call me a hypocrite, and if this makes me a hypocrite, so be it. If this is happening under Dan Ridenour, if this is happening and this is what it shakes out to be, in my opinion, it's worse. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why. Because Dan ran on fixing all of this. He ran on a bullcrap platform of, I don't want this stuff to happen. I'm going to make it better. We're going to clear things up. I'm going to slow government down. I'm going to improve. And if he came right into the office and day one, all the chaos started, because I'm telling you, I've been calling him out. I've been calling Dan Ridenour out since the week after he won the election. We didn't even get into the new term, and he was already doing questionable things. If he came into this office and he has allowed people to do the same damn thing that Craig Nichols was doing, in my opinion, it's worse. It is worse. No question. No question. So keep that in mind, because it's a little wonky. Now, again, I'm going to say, Micah. Okay, let's see here. Evelyn Myers. Are you aware that the Indiana State Police interrogated Dustin today and the Muncie Visitors Bureau, and Michelle Owen was placed on administrative leave? A huge mess. Dustin Clark stole all the rent money from the camp boutique at the reservoir and needs to be in prison. Okay, so this is interesting. Okay. Evelyn Myers. So let's break this down and unpack what you're saying here, because first of all, no, I did not know that. No, I don't have any proof of that. It's not that I don't believe you. people are capable of saying whatever. This is the internet. So I've got to take everything with a little bit of a grain of salt. I will tell you, let's back up before anybody starts believing this and going crazy and thinking that this is possible. I got to be honest. Okay, listen to me. I heard a rumor this morning that Dustin Clark had been arrested by the Indiana State Police. I worked very hard to try and confirm that today. I was not able to confirm that he was arrested. I'll put it to you like this. Matter of fact, I don't count on the Star Press to report stuff. I am not a newsman. I'm a political commentator guy, but I get a lot of breaking news and I break a lot of news, and that's just the way that it is. I was not able to find that he had been arrested. He was not jailed. There was not a mugshot of him. He was not in the Delaware County Jail. He was not in the Madison County Jail. He was not in the Marion County Jail. I did not find him in a lockup around here. Now, that does not mean, ladies and gentlemen, that the state police did not interview him. Okay, because I will tell you for a fact, the state police was, without any hesitation, I do know for a fact, the state police was in town today. They were in town today, and they have been investigating this. All right? That's the case. I know for a fact that Dustin Clark has been put on administrative leave. Now, I heard yesterday that Michelle Owen has been put on administrative leave. However, I did some checking yesterday and I found that as of yesterday, that was not true. As of yesterday at 4:30, which is after the end of the day, as of 4:30, 5 o'clock yesterday, Michelle Owen was still a paid employee of the city of Muncie, not on administrative leave in any way. She was still there. Matter of fact, she sent out a couple of press releases this morning, and I received those press releases. So she was still there as early as late as like around 10:30 or 11 today. So do I believe that she has been put on some administrative leave? I think that's just been a rumor floating around. I do not believe she's been put on administrative leave. Do I believe that she has, days limited? Do I believe that there's people looking at her? Absolutely, because I'm going to tell you, if Dustin was involved in this the way that he's being alleged to be involved, it's going to land on her too. That's just the way about it. I'm sorry, but that's just going to be. So I do know that the state police was investigating, but I cannot confirm that she has been. I can't confirm that she's been put on administrative leave. Now, can we go back here real quick? I want to look at what all this person says here. Okay. All right. A huge mess. Dustin Clark stole all the rent money from the Camp and Eat boutique at the reservoir and needs to be in prison. Now, let me talk a little bit about that. The Camp and Eat boutique. So that is a business that has been ran by someone who, I will tell you, over the years has not been a fan of mine, and we've butted heads multiple times. Now, over the last several years, we've kind of made a peace and we've been friendly. I've not talked to her in any time period in any of this. I know that she's been going through some trouble. I will tell you the fact that I know for a fact that she was dealing with Dustin Clark. It now makes what's going on there questionable, and I think that will be interesting to see how that all shakes out. I think it makes what the city is alleging happened there maybe sound a little bit different now. So that'll be interesting. Annie says, wasn't Michelle speaking for Greenlight Resources? Yes. They had a meeting at the Visitors Bureau, a public meeting as recently as Friday, at which time Michelle Owen was there, basically saying that she could answer any question that the board had. And a lot of the questions that they had pertain to Greenlight Resources. So if she's there as a city employee speaking on behalf of Greenlight Resources, that's a really weird thing. I'm hearing a lot of other rumors that maybe Trenton Brown was an employee of Greenlight Resources. So that's the thing. The problem here is this is all a very incestuous deal where we've got people from over here melding with people from over here, and they're all doing the same thing with different folks, and so it's very questionable. I am telling you, I am hearing that we are talking about amounts of money that are in excess of, $50, $60, $1,000, maybe more. I did get correspondence back from the city today about my records request, and they said that they have it to the controller's office, and they're in the process of printing what I want. They told me that my request for the emails was too broad, and I said, no, you guys are looking at this all wrong. I know it's a long period of time, but it's a long period of time as it relates to one specific title word. Type in the title search, type in the subject search, Greenlight Resources, and if there are emails between Dan Ridenauer and Dustin Clark about Greenlight Resources, those are what you print off and you give me, period. Okay, so that's important. The other thing that I want to be known is I am hearing that a lot of this from the city side has started because when the city and this whole solar thing got kicked off, the city had the opportunity to buy some gear, some merchandise from a vendor. Now, that vendor could very quite possibly be Greenlight Resources. Time will tell. I'll have to wait until I get the release for this and know. But Dustin told at this point an unnamed city employee, go ahead and buy everything that vendor has. We will sell out. So without running this by a board, without running this by anybody, Dustin Clark, thinking that he is big bad King Kong, he tells this unnamed employee, just write a check for everything. We'll buy it all. We'll be able to sell it. And then guess what happened? You know what? Bottom line, nobody was there to buy it. So because Dustin was like, yeah, I'm the one making this decision, buy it all, now the city is stuck with this. And that's a problem. That's a real problem. That is a real problem. And I don't know. So again, at this point, Micah could very well be the hero of the day. Could very well be the some form of whistleblower, and if so, I applaud her. Kate is asking what kind of stuff did they buy. I don't know. I'm hearing it's like merchandise, so maybe hats, shirts, maybe like beer koozies, coolers and things like that. I don't know what. I'm hearing all kinds of things: t-shirts, hats, magnets or something like that. I came to Muncie and all I got was like syphilis or something like that, something like that. T-shirts. So I don't know. But just whatever. Listen, Eclipse Day came, and I came and hung out with my grandparents and watched it with my grandma. I didn't buy no t-shirts. I bought my glasses for like 50 cents a couple days before, and I avoided all of that insanity. It is fraud. It would be fraud. They didn't buy anything fictitious. That's the kicker there. That's the kicker. It's going to be interesting to see if all of these items are accounted for, or if this, because all right, that's the other thing that people don't realize. Okay. Craig Nichols, under the Tyler administration, he was the building superintendent, the building commissioner. And so what he was doing that was questionable was his company outside of the city, outside of being the building commissioner, he had a private business, a couple of them. They were doing real work for the city of Muncie that wasn't getting bidded out. They were just getting the jobs. Well, that's a problem. And there's accusations that Dustin has done that. But some of the most egregious things that Craig Nichols did was, for example, he was just driving around and he's like, oh, look, there's 735 North Elm Street. That's an empty lot. It's been an empty lot for 25 years. And he marked it down. And then he went back and he typed up an invoice, and he turned that invoice into the city of Muncie and said, I need $5,000. I just tore the house down at 735 North Elm Street. Well, he turns it into him. The controller gets it. The Board of Works sees it. They don't know if there's a house at 735 North Elm Street or not. They go by and they say, hey, there's not a house here now. Hey, he must have tore it down. So they paid him for it. Well, lo and behold, he was getting paid for invoices he was turning in for work he was not doing. There's also the allegation that Dustin Clark has done that. Now, I'm going to tell you, the Visitors Bureau, they're working with me up front. They're saying, we're going to work with you. We're going to do everything we want. We do not want to get between the insanity of this and the feds, between the insanity of this and the state police. We don't want to get between the insanity of this and Christopher Bilbrey. We're coming clean. Dan Ridenhour, on the other hand, is trying to replace board members so they can vote stuff down. He's trying to distance himself. He's not making any statements about this. Dan, I'm making a plea to you tonight. This is listen to me. This is like those hostage videos where the guys are in the cave and they're like, quick, come save me. They're gonna do something bad to me. I'm making a plea between Christopher Bilbrey and Dan Ridenhour. Don't pull a Ridenhour on this one. Listen, get up in the morning, have a prayer, do your thing, and then say, what am I faced with today? I'm either going to heads up or heads down, heads or tails, thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm going to go left or I'm going to go right. Whatever way you decide to go on it, as soon as you make a decision, snap your fingers and say, okay, I'm going to do the opposite of what I just decided. Because when you do that, chances are you'll do something better, because everything that you've decided to do so far for the last term and the last 3 months of this term has been horrible. You've been bad. You do not have good decision making ability. He needs to make the Dennis statement. Mistakes have been made. Yes, absolutely. He needs to get out in front of this. Dan is a very reactionary person. Dan wants to deal with everything after the fact, after everything comes out, when everybody's already said everything, and he doesn't realize how badly that affects him. He does not realize how badly that affects him. So, Dan, do the right thing here, bro. Now, I've had people say, is he waiting until the election? Is he whatever? And Dan's not running, whatever. I don't know what he's doing. But Dan can't worry about that. Dan cannot worry about that. So, I don't understand. Yes. In the middle of this comment, we can see right here. I just posted this up. Can anybody see my comments? Yes, we all see those comments. Now I put it down, and there we go. All right, back on to the comments now. The rest of the story. So that's what's going on. We've got to figure out what's happening with the rest of this. Dan has not issued any kind of statement on this. The Visitors Bureau, to my knowledge, they've put out the press release. We read that last night, and we are now waiting for the rest of the records. I should have another wave of records from the Visitors Bureau tomorrow, possibly the next day. And as far as the city's concerned, we'll see. We'll have to see what happens. Is it too much to ask for in integrity? I don't know. Let's see here. Do. So I also need to discuss another issue as it relates to an election matter here in just a moment. Yeah, no, I don't see any other comments there. Okay. I read somewhere that Greenlight is doing the grant writing. If that is true, there is no contract. That is another issue. So that is definitely a concern. Okay, that is definitely a concern. So in case people are not aware how this goes, so I do not know. Basically, what happens is when the city of Muncie does work with anybody that is not a full-time employee or a part-time employee for the city. When they do work with a vendor, when they trade money for services or money for goods or whatever's going on, there's a contract. Get it? There's a contract. And you can go up, I can go up, we can all go up and ask for a copy of that contract. If the city of Muncie is paying Greenlight Resources to do any kind of service for the solar eclipse, any kind of work in connection with the grant writing, or any other work, period, mowing the grass, planting trees, watering the tulips, putting chemicals in the pool, whatever they're doing, there has to be a contract signed between the company and the city, and that contract has to be approved by the Board of Works. I've not found a contract, and I've been digging for it, I've been looking for it, and I can't find it. I've not heard anything about it. I've requested a copy of that contract, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see. Do you guys want to put a little bit of a wager? You know, I want to see by a show of, if you put a 1 in the contract, in the comments, if you feel like when they give me my records, it'll have a contract in it. Put a 0 in the comments if you feel there will be no contract between Greenlight. There will be a contract. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Absolutely. I do not believe that there will be. I do not believe that there will be a contract. Period. Okay. The other thing that Dan likes to do here is, it'll be funny, tomorrow's Wednesday. So the only other thing that I could imagine happening here, I guess I should have said, put a 0, 1, or a 2. And the 2 is if Dan pulls a Hail Mary and he goes to the Board of Works tomorrow and he says, hey, you guys didn't need to do anything with this, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention for transparency. Well, we've got this contract. We've had it here. I signed it way back in but go ahead and just vote on that. Go ahead and vote on that and sign it. And, you know, maybe backdate it to 2022 if you would, you know. No contract. They're in. I don't know. I don't know how they would get out of this one. I don't know how they get out of this one. Yeah, 0 yuan. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. I don't know how they get out of this. Out of this one. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I don't know. So, does anybody have any questions? But before we wrap up, I'm not going to go on much longer. I've got one more little thing I want to talk about. But are there any questions relating to this? Annie, is there anything that you think we need to cover? Is there anything that I've said that I've not said? Is there anything that we need to go over again? Is there anything that we need to touch upon and to get out there? I want to just double check. Well, okay, so I'm gonna say what GW Menace plays. So I'm gonna call you Menace if that's okay, or I'm gonna call you GW. I guess I'll call you GW. So GW. So it really, here's the bottom line. Yes, there is a time limit. What I'm requesting by going in and saying, if I went in and I could go into City Hall tomorrow, I could walk into the desk and say, I want every invoice that has ever been turned into the city of Muncie ever for Greenlight Resources. And they could print those out in a matter of 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And they could hand them all to me. So it doesn't take very long at all. It doesn't take very long at all. Now, technically, when I submit it by email, they have 24 hours to respond to me to let me know they've seen it. And, 7 days, 2 weeks, that's not a big deal. If they don't have anything to me within 30 days, at that point, I can file a complaint. I can file a complaint. So that's what's going on. There is a little bit. It just depends on what I'm requesting. So that's what the deal is there. If also, like Annie says, if there are no conflict of interest forms on file, that is a problem. It is a Class D felony, and to my knowledge, there are no conflict of interest forms on file. And if, for example, Dustin Clark is being Dustin Clark working foreman and Dustin Clark grant writer and Dustin Clark king of the Greenlight Resources, he needs to have at least a conflict of interest on file, or maybe two. Definitely. So that's what's going on there. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. As far as okay, conflict of interest, I think we've done that. If they are not making every single employee of the city fill these out every year, they're not doing their job. Well, and I think what that is I don't know. We'll have to see what goes on there. Are there any, let me go back up here and see, are there any other things, Annie, that you think that I need to say? I think that pretty much wraps that up. Okay, so unless Annie says anything here, let's see. Unless and then we did then what Kirby do for the city last I can see his employment. Yeah, that is a good question, because we talked about the Kirby guy for the Visitor Bureau getting in trouble and doing all that stuff in 2014 and 2016, but then there's like a blank in what he did. So what was he doing? you know, what was he doing? Where was he at? What was happening? And so I think time will tell there. That is something that I will try to ask, and we'll see what happens there. But okay, so from there, I need to just bring up one other little item. A couple people have asked me to hit on this, and I think that this is very, very important. There is something going around right now on this Citizens of Transparency page. When we say Citizens of Transparency, we need to be very clear. It's not citizens. It is a one citizen, one human being. It is Bill Walters. Bill Walters for Transparency should be better. That should be the name. He is posting the letter that Stephen Brand's attorney, Tom Malappet, sent to James King back when the election process first kicked off, when King was going around and saying things like, I'm a police officer and he's a convict or he's a criminal, and you know, he was raided and yada, you know, all this nonsense. We covered it. We covered this, and someone was asking, if I was going to make a statement on this, if I was going to release a statement and talk about how horrible Brand is because he is trying to censor King's First Amendment right. And these people act like I'm just, you know, a bag of dog shit because I've not said anything about this. And I'm like, wait a minute, I've talked about this. I have talked about this. I've said, attaboy to Stephen Brand for having Tom Malappet file that cease and desist letter. And it's disgusting that James King would go to John Brooke and have John Brooke submit the defense in his you know, response. Who paid for that? Did the citizens pay for that? Did King pay for that? Did the election pay for that? What's the deal there? Listen, I can't just say whatever I want to say. I have a First Amendment right, and I am a First Amendment purist. But we all are aware that you can't scream fire in a crowded theater. We're all aware of that, right? You cannot simply just slander people. You can give thoughts, you can give opinions. I can say, that I can say like, well, I think what King does is soft corruption, and we don't want someone engaging in soft corruption to be elected officials, yada, 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 okay? So that's fine. I cannot accuse King of criminal behavior that he has not yesterday or the day before. You said Brand was a terrorist. No, I didn't say that. And if I was saying it, I was saying it in jest. Or I might have been saying like, "Oh, look, because of his campaign finance, you know, he didn't get money from ISIS. I think that you mistook what I said. The fact that right here, yeah, okay. Annie said the terrorist thing, not me. The fact that Stephen Brand sent a cease and desist letter through an attorney to James King over what he and his attorney felt were slanderous or libel acts is not censorship. Censorship in the way that you guys are asking me would be the government officials stopping citizens from speaking. It would be Facebook or YouTube shadow banning people. Yes, it could be in jest, but I was kind of concerned about you saying it. I don't understand. You were kind of concerned about me saying it. You were kind of concerned about me saying it. How? You thought that it was true. You thought I was being serious. You thought I wasn't being serious. I don't. Which you don't have to tell. Obviously, nobody knows who you are. You're under an anonymous name.
There's the chance the king could come in and steal your content and crop it down and just have you saying Brand is a terrorist and use that and remove all of our branding and everything and putting it on his campaign page.
Say that again.
I think that he's worried that King is gonna come on, clip that piece where it says Brand is a terrorist, remove all of our branding and put it on his campaign page.
I would love for someone to do that.
That would be great.
I would love for someone to do that.
He was worried that he was missing.
Yeah.
That he was worried that you might get in trouble for it, I guess.
Oh yeah. No, I feel confident in anything that I say. I'm not Brand's a terrorist. Use that all you want. Anybody that you guys are insane. I know where Brand stands. Brand knows where he stands. I don't think that he's a terrorist. He did have a beard. I don't know if people, I don't know if that's like a race thing. I don't know. And yeah, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I think that the thing is, you know, when you become a candidate, you open yourself up for things that people say. It is what it is. I don't begrudge anybody for fighting back. I mean, look, I'm not a candidate and I'm a private citizen, but because I put myself out here and whatever, I put myself out here for people to say whatever they want to say about me. People say whatever. Listen, I have an ignorant, slow-minded, paste-eating, window-licking sheriff from Henry County that literally is telling people that I am a child molester. Openly thinks that. Now, that makes me think all kinds of things, and it makes me all kinds of angry. And I know that one day he will have to answer to God for those thoughts, because I have no ill will towards the man other than the fact that I know he should not be an elected official and he is a piss poor elected official. The fact that he feels that he needs to go as far as to label me a pedophile because I question his governing ability. Well, something's obviously in the screw loose. There's a screw loose up here. But I don't go, oh no, he's saying. I just let him say it and I roll off. It don't matter, whatever. Look, say what you want to say, and the truth will set you free. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. I don't know. You know, when you have politics is a blood sport, man, and so it's crazy. I don't know. So let's see. So I think that's it. I think that's all I've got to say. That probably won't be enough for the people who felt like I should you know, say something worse, but well, he must think let me see what's happening. We have not confirmed whether or not Michelle's. Well, no, I mean, I think that I have confirmed that she is. I think that I have confirmed that she is still at work. Because I have asked if she is. I feel like I have asked if she's been on administrative leave, and she responded to a press release. Or she responded to my email yesterday at like 4:40, and then she put out 2 press releases this morning. So she was at least at work at like 11 o'clock this morning. So we know Dustin's not at work, and we know that at least at 11 o'clock this morning, Michelle was. So that's where we are. No, as of 11 o'clock, as of 11 o'clock this morning, Michelle was at work. After 11 o'clock, I cannot verify where or what she was doing. Oh. So it would devastate Dan right now if he lost Michelle. Unless he needed to push her out to save his own skin. See, Dan is very much like the George Costanza of this movie. He's like, you know, women and children first, unless there's a fire. And then out of my way, you know. That's right now. So that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen, and that's going to do it for this episode. I think that's going to be it for tonight.
Christopher,
what?
Did you talk about the pretty king signs?
Did I talk about the precinct sign?
The king signs.
Oh, yes. No, I'm glad I forgot. Yes. Can you can you put that up? Okay, folks. Let's talk about this for a second. So James King posted this. This is a post that James King made. This was yesterday. Ironically, it's like strange that he made this the day after that he got his ass handed to him about the UAW thing. King says on 4/29 there was an act of vandalism to one of my signs. Respectful dialogue and peaceful engagement are the pillars of democracy. As a 30-year law enforcement officer, I don't condone behavior to deface another person's property. Civility is how we all rise together. Okay? Now listen. This makes me mad. Don't touch another person's sign. Do not touch another candidate's signs. Period. Listen, if a candidate comes to you and asks you, can I put a sign in your yard? You can say yes and tell them where to put it. You can say no and tell them where they can put it. Either one of those things are fine. All right? You can say, yes, go stick it out there in the yard, or you can say, go stick it where the sun don't shine and get off my property. Either one of those are fine. All right? The only people that can touch a political sign once it's planted are the politician and or their committee or the homeowner. Okay? That's that. This is also very important. If I own a property, if I own a home, and I rent it to Kate, and Kate lives there and pays rent, and I tell a politician to put a sign in that yard, Kate has the ability to take the sign up and say, no, I don't want it here. It is not the property owner, it's the person paying rent and staying there. Kate also can put a sign there that I don't want. When you put a sign in your yard, the only person that can touch it is you or the team of the person who's doing it. Okay? Politicians should not touch other people's signs. Their teammates shouldn't. People that are just supporters, they think they're helping people. You're not. Don't touch other people's signs. With that being said, there are a couple caveats that need to be known here. Number one, as a homeowner, I have the right to tell you, a candidate, that you can put a sign in my yard, and I can learn something about you a little bit later on down the road that changes my mind, and I can take that sign out. And I can give it to you, or I could tear it up if I want. Now, it's technically their property, but, you know, it is what it is. You can do what you want to do it. All right? That's that. All right? I want to be really clear. You, as the homeowner, can change your mind at any time. Don't damage signs. Don't destroy signs. Now, I will tell you, there are these people that are sick in the head that say, I'm running for office and I need sympathy because I feel like I am not getting heard, not getting seen. People don't like me, or I'm not winning, or yada, yada, yada. And they will damage their own signs to then say, look what's happening to me. The other side, they're hurting me. And it's completely made up bullcrap. I don't know what I believe here. Let me tell you, that damage to that sign that you saw, put that back up there real quick, Kate. That happened just right down the street. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do you have, Kate, do you have the other sign from the UAW up? That is the UAW sign. I think that's the UAW sign. Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm pretty certain that that's at the UAW. Do you have one of the other things from the building? One of the other pictures up still? If you don't have it in there, that's fine. Okay. That doesn't help me. All right, you can take it off. I'll look into this tomorrow. So this adds a little bit of, yeah, that doesn't help me. So
Do I need to pull up a GIS map for you?
what?
Do I need to pull up a GIS?
Do
you want me to?
Yeah, can you pull up type in 3501 South Walnut Street.
3501 South Walnut.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, because I need to see one thing, and I'll show you what.
Okay. I can zoom in some. Okay, this is satellite. Okay, and zooming. I'm sorry. I know that I'm off screen and not helping you any by doing.
You're fine. No, that's fine.
Give me 1 second and I'll get back over here and I will share that. Sorry, everyone, for the slow poke here. Okay, let me know what you do.
What?
Do you need me to zoom in some more?
Can you take it to street view?
Let's see here. Street side. Bird's eye.
Yeah, there you go. No, if you take it to street view,
it's not letting me.
Go down and click on the blue line.
Click on the blue line.
Yep.
Here, where the street was?
Yep.
Okay.
Click on it, like double click it. Click. Yep, there you go.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
Okay. Now, spin us around right here. Okay. Spin us around more. Okay. Can you blow it up right there? Okay. Go north on Walnut Street. Click the north arrow right here. Yeah.
Left or right?
Right.
Thank you.
Right. All right. Stop. Aim it at this little. Okay. Right here. Right in that little patch of grass right there. Right there is where the sign was. Now aim us down towards the street. Yeah. Okay. Now go down that street some. Keep going. 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 All right. Keep going. One more. All right. Now stop. Now. Okay. Now put that picture up.
Okay.
Yeah, no, wait. Tweety Bird, real quick. Tweety Bird's okay. I did say what Tweety Bird said. I was saying it in jest. I was saying it as a joke. Okay, so no, I'm gonna take it back. I don't think, because that house in the background. All right, see where the house in the background is? Now, take this picture down. It's that house in the background there. See that house? Now, we're too close to it here. Use the arrow there.
Okay.
Keep going back. All right. And so there's the house. Keep going a little bit more. It's like a sign that would be in this yard right around here. So it wasn't the UAW, but it was down from there. Well, that's interesting to me. That's interesting to me that it just happens to be right down from the UAW. Well, that's funny. So, anywho, listen, at the end of the day, don't touch people's signs. I don't know who did it. Is there a Ring doorbell? Let's see it. At the end of the day, the bottom line, don't touch people's signs. If King did this looking for sympathy, shame on him. If someone from the brand, look, I'm going to put you this way. No one from Stephen Brand's team defaced his sign. Could there be some wild supporter out? Look, there's a lot of people that don't like King. It could be a teenager. It could be anybody. Just nonsense. It is whatever, like every year. You can always tell when the election gets close to the end because all the candidates start sharing pictures saying, look, my signs are being torn up. That's what happens at the end, and it is what it is. So whatever. It's nonsensical. Don't do that kind of crap. It's stupid. It can get you in trouble. I mean, it is a criminal charge. It is a criminal charge. So if you get caught doing it, that's not a good thing. It's hard to be fun and serious with a smile on your face. Yeah, don't damage King's signs anymore. And it very well could be close to the easement. Look, that don't matter for James King. James King does not follow any laws. The other day they said that there were people talking about he's got this great big box truck thing that he's got the sign rolling on, and it's driving around all over the county without license plates on it. And they were like, no, it's not. It had dealer tags. And I'm like, no, it didn't. I was behind it the other day for like 5 miles, and that thing did not have a plate on it in any area. It did not have a plate on it. Had I been a police officer in a car at that moment, I would have pulled them over because they did not have license plates on that car. So it was driving on the road illegally, and it is what it is. But it's James King, so who cares? Whatever he's going to do. Listen, it's not going to matter. He's going to be beat, and that's the end. It is what it is. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back in the studio tomorrow. You guys have a wonderful evening. Take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. I will have more information hopefully tomorrow about what we've been talking about. Hopefully it will be new information. I will also have information as it pertains to other ongoing things. We're going to have Catherine on the show coming up. I don't know when, but we're getting closer to the election, folks. You guys take care. God bless each and every one of you. And I want to settle the argument. I did jokingly say, Brand's a terrorist or not a terrorist or whatever, as I was talking about his campaign finance, because that's what the other side has been saying about him. So I was being a smart ass, and that's what it gets. So I don't think anybody was trying to defame me. It was a joke. So you guys have a good evening. Thank you all for being here. I don't know who Tweety Bird is. If Tweety Bird, if you are local and you want to tell me who you are and hit me up on Facebook, you're free to do so. You don't have to. I don't burn people. I welcome you. I welcome all the new people that have been on here the last couple of days. Thank you all very much. Hey, while you're here, if you could do us a quick little favor, it would be awesome. If you could, and you could go down through and hit the like button, hit the bell, subscribe if you haven't, do all of that stuff. Julie, I'll go back and look and see what the deal is with the emoji. There's no reason you shouldn't have an emoji there. There have been weird stuff on YouTube. The other day, it was not letting the likes in, and it wouldn't let the viewer count go on. Who knows what's going on? Your emoji's there. If you're a member, you have an emoji. Everybody has an emoji. That's such a minor thing of the show here. The most important thing is the information that we're getting out. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good evening, and we will see you next time. I guess next time being tomorrow. So take care. Have a good evening. God bless. Goodbye. Oh. Oh, by the way, I'll get the video clip if you can turn it off.
Sure.
Good night, Tweety Bird. I'll take care of that honey deal. Rondola.